I managed to play 7 different games this month when I wasn't playing Field of Mystery's brand new update, and in this video I'll be reviewing all of them. Hello Cozy Gamers, I'm Ellie and welcome back to the Cozy Gaming Club, where we talk about all the latest and greatest cozy games. As always, there are a ton of new cozy games releasing every single month, and it's hard to decide which ones you want to buy and which ones you want to miss out on. So in this video, I reviewed all of the ones I played and hope it helps you to make a decision. The first of which is Magical Bakery, a magical cooking game where you run a bakery. It's got all your cozy cooking essentials like delicious looking treats, customers with slowly depleting patience, and a myriad of mechanics to wrap your head around. But should you be choosing this over some of the other cooking games that are available? Let's discuss. Also, full disclosure, I was sponsored to make a video about this game, and you can find that up above if you want to see some of the gameplay in action. If you're a fan of lemon cake, then you're probably going to enjoy this game. And for me personally, I did like the 12 or so hours that I played, but I do think some things could be improved. Especially the tutorials. There were times when I was stuck in the game and had to go to Steam discussions to find out what to do next. And there were some tutorial menus where the video was just a black screen and I had to guess what to do from the text alone. When you unlock upgrades, it also doesn't explain how to use them, leaving you to figure them out on your own. The worst of which is the oven. I unlocked the ability to cook 2 dishes at once, and I was so excited to speed up my processes. Until I discovered you need to turn the oven around using the lever, which meant you could only watch one food cook at once. Meaning unless you were really on it, you could accidentally burn your food because you don't hear the noise or see the completion smoke. Having said that, there is a lot of standing around and waiting for customers to arrive. There were a few times, especially in my first week of gameplay, when a customer would leave and it would take an hour or two in-game before a new customer arrived. And you just stood around waiting for someone to show up so you could start cooking for them. So it's not as stressful as some of the other cozy cooking games. But I do really love the addition of exams that you need to pass every week. I don't think I've really seen this in a game before, and it adds a really fun mechanic to the gameplay and something else to focus on besides upgrading your bakery. Now that we're back to the upgrades, I also wanted to mention how useful the upgrades in this game were. Some upgrades can feel redundant or unnecessary, and while I wasn't a fan of the oven, most of the upgrades, like being able to instantly cook a dish if you had the right ingredients rather than needing to add them all to the pot, were a game changer. The recipes in Magical Bakery were also really cute. From the realistic recipes like creme brulee to the adorable cat cake, I loved the art for them. I would have liked to see more magical recipes, though, rather than just normal dishes like ours. This is a magical bakery after all, so why can't we have some cool and magical bakes? There is a little bit of magic added to the dishes through the sprinkles that you can receive from your elementals, but I admit that I found this part of the game a little boring and unfulfilling. Essentially, you run downstairs each morning to hug and feed your elemental, and then make some sprinkles, and that's all the interactions you have with them. And then an NPC comes in with a cloud over their head and you can brighten their day with some elemental magic. But you never get to see an outcome to you brightening up their day. I would have liked to see a bit more there, just as I would have liked to see a bit more in the character design screen too. As you can tell from this review, I liked some parts of this game but not others, and I would definitely recommend considering what you want to get out of it before you pick it up. If you're looking for something a bit simple and relaxing like lemon cake with a sprinkling of magic, then I think you'd enjoy this one. Also, I had no issues playing this on my Steam Deck apart from a little lag when I entered the observatory. I was also sponsored to create a video for this next game, which you can find here if you want to see some of the gameplay. Petit Island is an adorable exploration game about a young kitten called Lily whose grandpa is slowly forgetting his past. Filled with determination, she heads to her grandpa's hometown to try and meet all of the people who shaped his past, and learn about his adventures from them so she can remind him of them. Given that this game has a title character with a name, I was not expecting to be able to customize Lily, but you can, and it was such a pleasant surprise. There are so many different fur types to choose from to match the cat in your life, and you can change your outfit and backpack as well. With character creation complete, you're out into the world, and wow, what a world it is. Petit Island is a beautiful game that really captures the feeling of a summer vacation. With its low-poly art style, it reminds me a lot of one of my favourite games, Alba: A Wildlife Adventure. And when matched with the soundtrack, this game just has the coziest vibes. While the world is beautiful though, it did feel empty at times. There were so many buildings that you can't go inside of, and so many characters that you can't talk to, and many of the characters are repeated in different locations. But how does the gameplay hold up? Well, I really enjoyed the story in Petit Island, and I didn't want to put this game down when I was playing it. Between Lily's moving main quest, the side quests, and her trusty camera, there were an abundance of things to do during my time on Petit Island. And thanks to Lily's adorable banana llama sidekick, I never felt like I was spending too long getting from location to location. When it comes to the story, you'll soon discover that Lily's quest won't be as straightforward as she first expected, and you'll be getting up to all sorts of fun and mischief on Petit Island. As with almost every cozy game nowadays, there were lots of collectibles in the form of fish and bugs to find on your adventure, although I did find the achievements linked to these a little buggy. This is a short adventure that will take you around 3 hours to complete if you're solely focused on the main story. I played this on my Steam Deck and it worked flawlessly. I didn't have any issues or bugs at all. Although I will say that the controls are displayed incorrectly, but it just took a little bit of time to work out what they were. This next game really surprised me. I wasn't expecting much from it, but I honestly could not stop playing it, and I could not stop watching videos of other content creators playing it as well. This game is Luma Island. I've been searching for a sort of Sims Castaway style game for a while now, and Luma Island kind of fulfills that need. You start with nothing apart from a few tools and a caravan and have to slowly build your homestead over time, learning new skills and recipes to earn money to unlock new buildings, crops, and areas of the map. I've played this game exclusively in co-op with my sister and my Discord community members, and we've had a blast. In total, I've probably played around 15 hours of this game so far, and here are the things I liked and didn't like about it. I will preface this review by saying this game will not be for everyone. For starters, there is no relationship building, and the NPCs are very, very flat. They're basically pancakes. UK pancakes, not the American ones. There's also no real plot to this game. There is a tiny, tiny little plot about rebuilding the town after an earthquake, but there's not really an overarching main plot with cutscenes to follow along with. Luma Island essentially revolves around taking on a new career, like brewer or treasure hunter, and completing a series of quests related to this class. Most of these do boil down to fetch quests where you're collecting resources to craft an item over and over again. But each class does feel slightly different, with unique machinery and a different priority when it comes to resources. This really lets you customize your playthrough, and you can completely avoid the mines if you want to, or choose to never farm in the game. As you progress through the game, you can also multi-class, which is great if you're not playing in a large group and want access to the equipment of the other classes. When you go mining, the spiders, or ghosts if you have arachnophobia mode on like me, are severely overpowered and can one-hit kill you. Fortunately, you don't lose any items, but it's very annoying fainting and needing to go all the way back to where you were before. There are also a few quality of life features that I think could be improved, like being able to quickly transfer stacks of items into a chest, but on a whole, I really like this game. One of my favourite parts of Luma Island is the treasure hunting, which is so much fun. Exploring a dungeon with your friends, avoiding traps, opening locked doors, and discovering treasure chests filled with goodies is just great. And with each dungeon you complete, you receive a Luma egg. But the Lumas are personally one of my biggest letdowns from the game. They're so cute, and I love that they follow you around, and you can also have a little hut for them on your homestead. However, I feel like they're quite redundant, especially as all they do is discover the occasional treasure chest for you that you can dig up while out exploring. I would have liked to see them do something more, and hopefully the developers will take this on board if they do future updates. I've thrown a lot of negatives at you, so here are some of the things I like. There are lots of customization options for your character. There is no stamina bar, so you can work all day long, and you also don't need to sleep, so you can work all night as well. Your inventory is unlimited, so you can hoard literally every item, and it means you don't need to spend resources on a chest. Upgrades aren't expensive, and you can get your upgraded tool back immediately rather than having to wait 3 days, and it actually feels like the upgrades are useful when you're able to one-hit enemies and rocks. You can receive Everseed crops from treasure chests that automatically replant whenever you harvest them, saving you money on new seeds. And there are also lots of cool biomes to explore, and each new area is filled with new puzzles to solve, a new dungeon to search for treasure in, and new resources to collect. Having said all of that, I have not played this game in solo, and I could imagine it being a bit grindy if you did. But for just £16, or I got this for £13 in the sale, it is well worth it for the hours I'm going to spend playing this with my friends. And like the 2 previous games, I played this on Steam Deck without any issues at all. This is another game that's well worth the money I paid for it. At just £4, this game is so cheap and I cannot stop playing. Lost But Found is a job simulation game where you work for an airport's lost and found desk, returning lost items to holidayers. Items come in on your conveyor belt, and you need to hang on to them until someone comes to collect them. While everything may start out calmly, Lost But Found quickly picks up in intensity, and it can become quite tricky as you start racking up the days. Fortunately, there are 4 different difficulty levels, so you can customize the difficulty to match your skill and what you want to get out of the game. Personally, I like a bit of challenge, so I played on normal, and with the help of the in-game upgrades, it's manageable and fun to play. If you're looking for something short and a little challenging to pass the time, then this might be a good option. The only thing that I wish they'd change is that the main game stops playing when you're doing a minigame. I wouldn't recommend playing this one on Steam Deck though. It's not optimized for controller support and it feels so clunky and difficult to use. On the other hand, if you're looking for something short but relaxing, might I suggest Wilmot Works it out. I'm always looking for games to fill my lunch break with, especially short puzzle games like Pixel Cross Story of Seasons, and Wilmot Works It Out was kindly gifted to me by the developers and it's become my lunchtime staple. In Wilmot Works It Out, you play as Wilmot, who receives a new puzzle from his puzzle club every single day. But sometimes they come a little mixed up with future puzzle pieces included in the same box. So you've got to work out which puzzle has all the pieces and put it together. After you've completed a puzzle, you can hang it on your wall, and before long, your previously empty room will be full of colourful mementos of your puzzling. I haven't finished this game yet, as I'm trying not to binge it all in one go, but that also means I can't tell you exactly how many puzzles there are or how long it will take you to complete them all. I can tell you that it's a relaxing way to round out my day and forget about the real world for a while as I puzzle away. When you complete the game, there's also a New Game Plus option so that you can endlessly complete puzzles to your heart's content. I imagine it'll be like all of the daily tidies and a little to the left. However, if you're looking for something more from the game than just the jigsaws, then I don't think this is the game for you. It's solely about solving puzzles with a little bit of story from our lovely postwoman. Next up is a beautiful, beautiful game that was released last month, but I only just got around to playing it. This game is called Europa, and it's a Ghibli-inspired adventure where you travel across Jupiter's moon Europa and explore the remnants of a fallen civilization. You've got no idea why you're here, but as you explore, you'll find pages of a journal that'll unlock memories and tell you more about the gorgeous world you're exploring. The main mode of transport is actually flying using Z's jetpack, and there's nothing better than slowly gliding around above the lush greenery and crystal clear lakes, spotting the strange creatures that dot this world. These creatures are called gardeners, and you can sketch them all in your sketchbook, and it's actually an achievement to sketch all of them. On the surface, this game is full of beauty and reminds me of another Future Friends game called Omno that follows a similar path of exploring a beautiful alien world. However, unlike Omno, Europa disrupts that pleasant exploration with a myriad of obstacles that almost completely ruin the experience. From laser and plasma shooting turrets to fuel-devouring fish, bombs, and more, there's a lot of objects and creatures aiming to disrupt your flight in Europa. And while they don't actually do any damage beyond stunning you and knocking you out of the sky, they are infuriating. Europa shines best when you're flying around with your jetpack, and it shows its worst when you're stranded on land unable to fly again. The walking speed in Europa is so slow, the jumping is a little bit clunky and drifty, and sadly you can't take off again until you manage to find your way to another bundle of energy to refuel your jetpack. This game could have been something special, but the hazards that marred the journey created an experience that couldn't quite decide if it wanted to be cozy and meditative or something else entirely. Now, the devs reached out to me about this next game, and after playing it, I personally wouldn't call it a cozy game, but I wanted to include it in this video as it's doing something very different to any game that I have played before. Rather than being a game that you enjoy or a narrative-focused story that you follow along with via dialogue, Miniature seems more like an interactive art exhibition, where you discover more about the world and its story by interacting with it. This is a short game that clocks in at less than an hour of playtime, and in it you'll be experiencing 4 different childhood memories, each linked to an item in a box. Now, these are not happy memories, but it was actually incredible just how much they made me feel, given how short each tale was. They always start quite calmly with you watching TV or placing a screw over a hole for someone to screw in, but it quickly ramps up in intensity. The home renovation story was definitely the most impactful for me, and I could feel the stress as everyone fought over how to build the furniture and things kept breaking and getting progressively worse. But each story reached an end and then did nothing with it. And perhaps this is part of the experience, for you to sit with those feelings and think about why you felt that way. This is not my typical game, and I can't say I'm in a rush to play it again. But it's hard to really put into words what I felt while playing this. They made me uncomfortable, but I also can't stop thinking about them. Do with that information what you will. Those are all the reviews for the games I played last month, but did you play something I didn't? Let me know down in the comments, and while you're down there, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more cozy gaming content. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!